Hi everyone, you're welcome to my channel once again. We'll be learning how to make this beautiful bustier corset, inbuilt corset, the picture on the thumbnail. Now let's get started. The first thing is the shoulder measurement of this client is 16 divided by 2, we have 8 inches. Then I went ahead to mark all the vertical measurement, as the breast point 10.5, the under bust 14, the waist length 18 inches. Then I'm going to roll it on the other side. I'll mark it so I can square up the lines. So this is me trying to roll the line, and after that we are going to be putting the neck width and the neck depth. So for now I'm using the basics, that's the standard of 3 by 3. Neck depth is 3 inches, neck width is 3 inches. I am going to connect it together. Then later we can now do alterations on the neckline. Then guys, I use 1.5 inches for the shoulder slope. So I connect from the neck width to the shoulder slope. After that guys, from the shoulder slope, I'm going to be going down by 7 inches. So from the breast point, that is 1.5 inches upward, that becomes my chest line. So you can do 1.5 or you do 1.25. So this is me writing, labeling them one after the other. Now from the waist length, I went down by 9 inches. That will serve as the hip length, because this design is an inbuilt corset. Now guys, this is me calculating the 7 inches that I mark for the chest line. I divided it by 3 and it gives me 2.25 or 2.5. Then I square up the line. That also becomes my across chest line. Guys, so for the nipple to nipple measurement is your round bust divided by 8 minus 0.75. So whatever it gives you, you go ahead and mark. Now this gives me 4 inches for this client, so I put the 4 inches on the breast point, on the waist, and on the full length. Now I'm going to connect the line all the way from the breast point down to the full length. So guys, I'm going to be going up from the breast point by 1 inch. After that, I'll put the 4 inches nipple to nipple measurement on that 1 inch. Then I'm going to divide whatever I have between the neck width and the shoulder. I'll divide it by 2 and I will indicate. Then I'm going to connect it to the 1 inch mark there. Okay guys, so we are going to be using 2.75 for our shoulder darts. Then I'm going to divide it by 2. Whatever it gives me is what I'll put on both sides. That becomes the shoulder dart. But for a bust of 40 upward, we use 3 inches. And I put 1 on both sides. Now I'm going to be connecting it to where you see my ruler touching. After doing this guys, I'm going to be closing that shoulder dart so I can rule or measure my shoulder measurement properly. So after folding it to close it from one dart to the other dart, now we're going to extend our shoulder line. Now you place your ruler, let it touch the initial 1.5, and from the neck width, you're going to rule a straight line or a slanted line downward. Then you take your tape, you are going to be measuring the actual shoulder measurement of 8 inches. Then you measure it. Then I went ahead to open the dart. So guys, I'm going to be giving this design a little bit of ease on the armhole area. Now the difference from the breast point upward is 1.25, so it is better that way. Then I'm going to put my round bust divided by 4 on the chest line and also on that ease line. So for the across chest measurement, I put it as 7, then I replace that yeah, and I also replaced it. So I'll connect the 3 lines together. Now I'm just trying to mark the half-inch ease so I can rule a line there and also put our round bust measurement divided by 4. So that is what I am doing. Then I'm going to connect the 3 lines together, that is the shoulder, the across chest and the round bust, so that we can form our armhole properly. After this, guys, we're going to put in the horizontal measurement because we'll be doing what we call waist snatching. So on the waistline, I divided by 4 and I indicate. On the hip line, I'm going to divide it by 4 and I will also indicate it. Then we're going to connect the 3 lines together from the chest line to the waist to the hip line. Now you notice I'm using a pencil. Yeah, I'm just trying to cross check, so if there's any mistake, I can easily clean it off. Now, because we are doing a waist snatching, you're going to place your ruler on the 9.5 inches bust measurement, then you connect it all the way to the hip measurement, just the way you see me doing, like that. I hope you can see this pencil. Okay guys, so we're going to be extending the lines. We'll extend the hip line, the waist line, the chest line, that's the new chest line, and the across chest line. So you extend those lines so we can draft the back. That's why I like my back and front on the same pattern. Now you're going to measure what you have from your neck depth to your chest line. Then you go up from that, or from your back chest line, whatever the front chest line gives you, you're going to go up. Can you see what I did? So from your back chest line, you go up from that measurement. Most of you are familiar with this because we've done this pattern several times on the channel. Then you're going to roll the line. Then after that, the 1.5 inches shoulder slant we used initially for the front, you're going to use it for the back also. Then you roll the line. Then from there, you're going to mark the neck width of 3 inches. Then the neck depth, you're going to mark 1 inch. Then you connect. So guys, like I said, we are familiar with this tutorial because I do this pattern a lot on this channel. Now I'm going to be using 4.25 for the back dart. Remember, the front we use 4 inches for the nipple to nipple measurement. For the back, I used to add 0.25 to whatever I use as my nipple to nipple measurements. That becomes the back dart. Then on the waist length, I also put the round waist divided by 4. Then on the hip, I put the hip measurement divided by 4. On the chest line, I put the bust measurement divided by 4. Then on the across chest back, I put the across chest measurements. Then on the shoulder, I place my tape that way and I mark the shoulder measurement. So I'll connect the armhole together. That's the shoulder, the across chest back, and the chest line. That gives us the back armhole. Then I'm going to place my ruler from the neck width to the shoulder points. Yeah, so we have our back armhole and shoulder ready. Then I went ahead to connect the 3 lines together. That's the round bust to the round waist to the round hip. Then I'm going to roll that part down because this pattern, like we are doing a waist snatching pattern. Then I roll it down. I also use my marker pen to thicken the lines for the front, that is the initial measurement, then connection from the chest line to the hip line with a straight ruler. We are going to do some alterations now, guys. I'm going to be going out on my chest line by 4/8, that is the line before the ½ inch. I did that for the back. I placed them on the chest line and on the hip measurement. Then I'm going to rule a straight line. I was supposed to do this before I rule a straight line initially. That's why you see me using a pencil to do this, so we don't have plenty lines. But I hope you understand. This is basic for everybody. So guys, I'm going to be doing calculation now. So from the back waist, that place where my tape is touching, you're going to measure to the pencil. Then you now start counting from the front pencil. Whatever the back gives you, you start from it to the front waist. I hope you understand. You place your tape from this and you measure. So what it gives you, you will now divide it by 6. So what it gave me was 4.5, then divided by 6 equals to 0.75. So that 0.75 is what we're going to be using for our dart intake. That is 3 for the front, 3 for the back. So that's the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, then the sixth one. Do you understand? After that, I'm going to use the ruler to connect all the darts. So the back, you connect it to your chest line, or you can come down by 1 inch before connecting. Doesn't matter. Then connect it to your hip. For the back, you're also going to, the third one on the back, you connect it to the actual bodice measurement. That is the round bust to the main line, not the 4/8. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm just using a pencil so we don't have plenty lines. Then you connect from that waist to the actual hip measurement. For the front, we're going to connect from the waist to the bust line. Do the same thing for the second side. Then you do that for connect it to the hip. So you also do the same thing for the third one on the front to the actual bust measurements, and from there to the hip measurement. So in total, what we use to snatch this is 3 inches. Then guys, we're going to be tightening the under bust. So the waist measurement is 35 inches and the under bust is 34. So you place your tape from the starting line there. You measure whatever it gives you to the first dart leg. Then you place what it gives you on the second dart leg and you measure to that pencil mark. Do you get? So what it gave me is 8.5. I'm going to repeat all over again. From the center front, you measure to the first dart leg. Then you place the tape. What it gives you on the front, you place it on the second dart leg towards the side seam. Then you measure to that pencil mark. So the difference between that is just ½ inch. So we are going to place the ½ inch on that point where you see my tape, my pencil touching. Then you're going to be connecting it with a curve ruler to the breast point. Now, if you're not doing designs like this, you can shear the half in 0.25 on both sides. But because of the yoke we're going to be cutting off, we don't need that. So you connect it to the dart leg on the waist. After that, I'm going to be using my ruler to mark a straight line from the breast point to the shoulder dart line. Then guys, we are going to be getting our plunge neckline. From the under bust, I went down by 1.5. So whatever design your client gives you, you have to check where the plunge neckline get to. That is where you mark. Now I'm extending the neck width and the neck depth by 3.5 by 3.5. Then after that, I'm going to go up from the breast point by 4 inches. That is where I want the the over bust to stop at. So I'm going to rule a straight line on that point. Now guys, because we use 1.5 in total for the under bust, I'm going to be using the same 1.5 to tighten the over bust. So from the middle line there, you mark 0.75 on both sides. Now this has a yoke. It doesn't really matter if you tighten it or not, but sometimes it's good when you tighten so it will be firm. So after marking 0.75 on both sides, I'm going to take my curve ruler and I'll connect from that point to where our yoke will stop at. Then I'm also going to connect from the other side into the armhole, just like you see me place my curve ruler, like an S-like shape. Connect it, let it blend into the armhole. Now, I don't know the reason why this camera is not zooming very well at this point, but I hope you see what I'm doing. Then this is just me trying to use my marker pen to thicken it up so you guys can see it. I use the pencil first so that in case I will have to clean anything, but I think I'm good with it. Kindly give me a like if you are enjoying this tutorial and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Now our shape is almost getting ready. On the side seam, I'm going to go down by 3.5 inches. That is where I want the side seam to stop. Then towards the center front, I'll go down by 6 inches because it's a blouse, a bustier corset blouse. Now the 3.5, you can see I went back to mark it on our pencil. Please always remember you can use a marker to mark yours so you always see it. Then for the back also, yeah, this is me just using my marker to do a dot line. I'm going to mark 3.5 inches. Then towards the center back, I mark 5 inches. You can do the same for front and back. If you don't want your back to be as long as the front, you can reduce it. Then I'm using my curve ruler to connect it. Now guys, we're going to be sharing this back into 3. So from the dart to the actual measurement, you divide it by 2. Then on the waistline, you're going to place it to the actual measurement to divide it by 2. Then you take the straight ruler and you're just going to place it and rule a straight line down. Now this pattern is without sewing allowance yet. We'll put sewing allowance later. So we have the center back 1, center back 2, center back 3. It's good to always label your pattern so you understand. Now if you are sewing those points we have, that's where you join them together one after the other. So what I did for the front, I'm going to do for the back. Increase the neck width by 3.5. Then I'll connect it to the dart leg. on the chest line. So we have our back yoke ready. Now for the lacing at the back, I'm using 1.5 on the waist, on the chest line, and on the full length of the blouse, and I'm going to be rolling a straight line. That is for those doing the lacing. But if you want a zip, mark your zip allowance and you're good to go. So that part is off. Now back to the front, we have our front yoke, then the center front, the side front. So guys, we're going to be tightening this down part by 0.25 on both sides so it will not gape. Then you connect it to the corresponding dart leg, that is the darts on the waistline. Then you close the waistline first before you close the down part. You have to close it because when you cut it off, your fabric might get short. So you close the dart leg on the waistline first, then before you close the down part. So can you see that we have broken lines? So you take your ruler, you're going to connect it back. Then I'm going to cut it off from that point. After cutting, now I'm going to be adding sewing allowance of 2 inches. That is from the actual bust line. Then so this is me adding into the back also. Yep, sewing allowance. Now I'm cutting off. So what I did for the front, if you want to tighten the back also you can, but doesn't really matter because there's going to be a lacing there, so the lacing will snatch it. So I'm using my arrow to indicate that is the upper part, because sometimes those patterns are very confusing, they might look the same. So I'm cutting off the lacing, cutting the chest line where the back will get to, then I'm cutting the back, then also the back yoke. So we are done cutting the back, then I'm removing all the darts from the back. After removing, I'm still using my marker pen to place arrow so that I will know that one after the other is where I'm going to sew. So I'm also still writing lacing so I don't do mistake. Now we're cutting the front also. We cut into the armhole. Then I'm removing the darts. Yeah guys, so there's one thing I did that I forgot. Before you cut the front, please remember the over bust tightening. You connect it to the breast point, just the way you see me placing my curve ruler. You're going to connect it to the breast point. Yes, that is where you can now cut it off. So I'm going to continue cutting. Then I'm removing the darts. Yep, so cutting the yoke now, and I'm also cutting the center front yoke. Now this is very important guys. The tightening, from that tightening line you connect it to your shoulder dart line, so you also connect it. That is where our tightening stop at. Then you fold it one dart into the other dart. If you did not do this, your yoke is going to gape. It's always good when you wear your yoke and it's firm on your neckline. So after connecting, after folding it on one another, I use my stapler to hold it together. Then I'm placing another paper underneath it and I'm gumming it down. Then I'm also using my curve ruler to blend it into the armhole. This is what we call throwing. You replace whatever you cut off so that your yoke will not look funny when you are joining it to the bustier. I hope you guys understand this part. So whatever small piece that is missing, you have to fill it up back so you have a well-defined yoke. So we have the yoke ready. Now I'm cutting the neckline, and I'm also going to cut the shoulder. So we have our front and our back yoke ready. So this is me arranging all the pattern. Guys, this tutorial actually took a whole lot. So if you find it very helpful, kindly give me a like. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. And thank you guys for watching up to this part. Wait for the sewing tutorial. Bye.